Hi everyone, my name is Prithvi. Welcome once again to Backstage with Millennials, and today we have one of those very special guests with us, Mr. Ashish Tulsian. He was actually the first ever video that went live, and we were just talking about that just backstage. Uh, so right from that, like obviously he has been someone who has seen our journey from day one, from that first video to the time we have almost 220 videos, 75,000 subscribers. So welcome once again, everyone. It's a Friday evening. I know a lot of you would not really want to be, watching a video, watching a live interview. But again, welcome, sir, and
Thank
it's
you.
really
Thank you.
great to have you here.
Thank you for having me again. Thank you for starting the channel with me. I feel super honored, although I don't know, what contribution did I have, but thank you. Awesome to be here.
Okay, so for people who are still not familiar with Ashish sir, I know a lot of you are, so I will just give you a brief introduction. Ashish sir started a company called POSist in 2012. Uh, is that right, sir?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So POSIS is basically a POS for restaurants, and today they have more than 5,000 clients in 20 different countries. Uh,
8,000.
8,000, sorry. Pandemic has been really good for them. So yeah, they have more than 8,000 clients in 20 different countries. They have, like, Asif sir personally has been investing in a lot of companies. He has been mentoring a lot of companies. He has been one of my personal mentors. So we will be talking about SaaS as an industry, the effect of pandemic on SaaS as well as the tech business. Anything else that you have, he's a tech guy. He has built that amazing product that is being loved by a lot of 8,000 customers that we spoke about. So everyone, you can you can start sending your questions in the live chat that you're seeing, and so I will ask a few questions to begin with, sir, because I can't stop being greedy. Uh, First, like, how has pandemic been for the tech industry and the startup industry in general in India, and how has it been for you, your company, and how have you come out of it?
I think for the startup in general, startup or tech, I think pandemic has been great because my glass is half full. So apart from all the bad that pandemic brought to the world, at a personal level, health, etc. I think a lot of businesses went down. A lot of businesses, said or rather experienced almost going out of business. But I believe that that's technically not true. I mean, pandemic, nobody went out of business per se. Everybody's business fundamentals got challenged. Some of the businesses got challenged by, at the root. Some of the businesses got challenged, and on how they operate. Some of the, I mean, every business got challenged in how their unit economics work, how their cost structures work, how their profitability works, how they used to deliver services to their customers, how they used to interact with their customers. So I think everything got challenged, and I think that tech has been, of course, the most fortunate because tech was really designed to be remote, to be at home, and still work well. So I think for the industry, I see that pandemic has been great. It has brought in more good than bad, from the business and innovation. For us, restaurant industry, travel, hospitality, restaurant was like the worst hit. Hit was hit first and worst. Probably in the restaurant space. I think although people believe largely that food was the only business which was running because deliveries were on all across the world. So there was definitely that silver lining. But I can tell you that the cost structures, most of the restaurants are built around delivery could only bring in 20-30% revenue. That was good enough to keep the hope alive. That was good enough to keep the lights on, but it was far away from probably meeting the expenses. So March, April, May were horrible. Horrible is an understatement, actually. I think I can tell you my personal experience on 2nd of April. I think in India specifically, pandemic was kind of declared on 14th of March when everybody said, okay, something is happening here. And I think I was still chilling for next 16, 17 days saying, no, everything will be all right. And 2nd of April, I think it hit me that okay, something is really wrong, and probably it's going to be longer. When we were preparing internally on 2nd of April, I prepared for 12 months of zero revenue. Let me put it this way, right? So my first reaction to pandemic was that okay, like shit is hitting the roof in all directions. But good thing is that after May end, world kind of started, figuring out their new normal. People started figuring out, how to open the restaurants again, how to get to their delivery, how to, do the takeout. Governments across the world, and whatever I'm saying, I think from our vantage point, it was not only India, given that we had, customers spread across India, Middle East, Latin America, US, Europe, South Africa. So we were basically getting, all kinds of reactions from all over the world. And I think it also kept the hope alive, because we could clearly see that, okay, some countries getting in lockdown, somebody is in a semi lockdown, somebody is opening back, somebody is saying, it is okay to go out, somebody is saying there is a curfew. So I think we found our sanity in that chaos, because we realized that okay, there is no single truth which is going to prevail, and people will eventually come out of it. I think we started recovering in June, and March and April we saw zero revenue. Zero means zero. And in my last 12 years of running company, I have never, I think it's been 8.5 years for POSist, I've never seen a zero revenue day in my life. And May end we started getting some few percentage. I remember, I think we ended May with 10% of our revenue, like what it used to be, and that 10% felt like a cold shower. Like that's felt, I mean, we were high-fiving that we got some money in the bank, new money in the bank rather. June we started recovering well, and I think by September end we were back on track. As a company, we also went through changes, but good thing is that pandemic also made us question: do we have a lot of fat? Do we, as a company, are we sluggish? Do we have a lot of people, which may not be the right way to do business? Not really. I think good news was that we were already a lean team. We are a team of 140 people, and I think when we tried to see if we need to downsize, I think we could not find much. Unfortunately, we still had to let go, 12 around 12, 13 people, but those are mostly frontline, people who were in customer operations, who we knew that will not be able to contribute to the business for next 6 months till the time restaurants are back in full action. So unfortunately, we had to do that, but at times business has to do what it has to do. Good thing is that from September to now, we have rolled back. Our teams had to take a pay cut, to be honest. I mean, we sailed through well because our teams also took a hit. So we as a company did 20% to 50% pay cuts basis seniority slabs, etc. I think our team took that load. Cannot be more glad and thankful for them, to step up. So as of today, we have rolled back all our salaries. They're back to 100%. We have hired 20 plus people, during this period. Our new customer sign up rate is higher than before, because we launched this cloud kitchen product, and cloud kitchens became like the new reality of the restaurants. And last but not the least is that we also realized the value of having very high quality customers, because we were working with brands like Taco Bell, Carl's Jr., Nando's. We were working with top restaurant bars, and top fine dines in the country, and chains like, Belgian Waffles, or Momos, etc. I think those sustained well. Their customer love came back. They, continued with us. I think it is, everybody just pulled each other together up. So net, I think I will say that it has been a net positive year. And we are yet to recover fully. I mean, I cannot say that we have recovered 100%, but we now believe much more than ever that we will be closing the year in March 21 with a little bit of growth, not even flatlining.
Okay, so you were actually talking about those downsides and those challenging times when you actually had to let go a few people. So another thing which is basically industry specific, like it's not really industry specific, it's something which Like, what do you think, according to you, will be the new normal in the startup industry after the pandemic? Like, what are the changes that we are actually going to see in the coming days, coming weeks, or coming months?
See, I don't know if I mean I'm assuming that this question is also pointed at whether to go all remote, whether to be in office back,
Everything, correct.
back to face to face. I think I have also gone through my own experience based understanding of this. I think April, May, June, July. I think these 4 months I felt that my entire life was a lie, because these 4 months I was super efficient, with video. In fact, you know, I almost forgot what was the reason to travel, and what kind of traveling I had, all along. Last year I traveled 159 days out of country, and I'm not even counting Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore domestic travel. I was barely in Delhi for like 110 days. From that much traveling to completely sitting at one place, not even stepping out of home was a solid change. But I think I was kind of convinced that remote is doable, like remote works, and there is nothing that breaks. You of course have to change the way you work a little bit here and there. You have to change the mindset. Your team has to change the mindset. Your customers have to change the mindset a little, but it's no rocket science. I think anybody can maneuver that. But I think last few months I also realized that a cohesive team sitting in one place is a bomb. Like if you really want velocity, um, that cohesion, especially in startups, is very very powerful. It's. I think I used to think it was underrated, or I felt that it was even underrated for me. It's not now, so I cherish and value that more. But I don't think that world will. I think the normal has shifted for sure. World is not gonna fall back to its previous old ways fully, but I think it's going to be somewhere in the center. It's going to be a hybrid approach. At least for us, I can speak about POSist. I think it has done three things to us. One, we are much more open to hiring in remote locations, but I will still prefer that my core roles, roles which are very very important, which have strategic value, they should be closer to home. They should be in Delhi. I should be able to meet them. I still believe that that kind of proximity can brew some magic. But that is still belief. The change is that now if I find talent in some other part of the world who cannot travel to Delhi, I'll be fine with that. Now I know how to do that. So our scope of hiring has increased. I mean, has become better. Second is that I also believe that operational part, mechanical part, in a company can be run fully remote. So if you have operations work, if you have roles and functions which go 10-step process, 5-step process, which are a part of process, I don't really think that you need an office for that. I mean, that really depends on your company's appetite. And, for example, when I hear that a TCS is going remote and when I hear a Unilever is going remote, I'm not surprised at all. I believe that, you can run a war room, a management war room, where people can collaborate, people can, see each other and travel, to be more present with each other. And rest of the teams can actually work remotely. So I think it's going to be a combination. Business travel is not going to be as heavy as before. I believe that world is also going to shift to leisure travel more and business travel less. But at the same time, I also believe that a large part of it is going to come back. So it's not going to be wiped out. Or I think if I have to place my bets, I will say that probably 60-70% world will come back to its previous ways, but at least 30% world is going to change forever.
So we're almost 15 minutes into the interview, and this is the time that I open the floor for people to ask. And first question that we have is from Rakesh, and this is a question which we actually get asked a lot, and I think you will be the perfect person to answer this. Like, where I will find a mentor for us, my new startup. Request you to answer in a cut-to-cut way. Several times I have failed to get answer for this question. So
Where
Rakesh is
where
now.
will you where will I get the mentor?
Yes, for my new startup.
Rakesh, I think I don't know. I don't have a cut-to-cut answer for that, but I can tell you two, three things. One, um, uh, I think Prithvi, हमारी audience is, I mean, our audience is good with Hindi. Is it majorly
They
Indian
should be
audience?
good with Hindi,
Okay, got
but
it. So Rakesh, I mean, no, I'll still keep English, but Rakesh, I will say that mentors यार बाजार में नहीं मिलते. You just can't find them anywhere, and you are not entitled to any mentorship. World has no obligation, towards you. Mentorship is earned. You need to fire up people with your vision, and it's not really only about mentors. I think be it your teammates, partners, co-founders, employees, and mentors, I think you find all of them with the same point, which is, what are you trying to pursue? Why should I spend my time with you? And most of the times, right kind of mentors will not really need anything from you, which is maybe which is tangible. But I think people do want your seriousness. At least I can say, speak about myself and the mentors I have had, and what I ask from people who I have mentored, and what I see. I want your seriousness. I want to know what I can help you with. I am not gonna help you walk. I have my own shit to take care of. I'm struggling with my own battles, whatever, little, big or small. I have different battles. I do have my own battles. So if you want to find a mentor, I will say, be genuine. Dig, do homework, research people. If you want to get mentored from me, for example, then go research, what do I do. Figure out, spend time in understanding what am I good at. Create that pitch. Why? What is it that you want from me? Why do you think that I will be able to help? And do figure out that what is in it for me. हो सकता है वो gratification हो, right? For example, when a B2B SaaS product founder comes to me and says, I built this product, did not work in India. Now I want to change the pricing. I'm stuck. I suddenly get fired up, right? Because this is the area which I love, right? Because I breathe this area, right? And why this guy came to me? Because probably he heard me somewhere saying that you should change the pricing, you should pivot the segment, you should, so people who have done something, they want to contribute to you, but they just want to make sure that they are not wasting time in figuring out whether you need that help. If you will come to me and say, hey, I'm going to start an e-commerce venture, I mean, I can give you opinions, but technically I'm not going to spend time on you, because I don't know e-commerce enough to really help you. There is a high chance that you will, my advice is going to do back to you. But even if I have opinions, I will not try and use that time. So I will say that look for mentors, do your homework, pitch, don't get offended when people don't reply, follow up. If they don't reply again, follow up again, and don't follow up thinking कि अरे sir आप तो reply नहीं करते. Follow up believing that they don't have time. They might have missed your email. Your email might have landed the day that guy had some other priority, or that guy had fire in his life. Follow up, and I can tell you that 101% people will mentor you. I can tell you I have more mentors than I can use their time and do justice to. Most of the times I'm not able to reach out to people, or I don't reach out to them, is because they will spend their time on me. And unless I am sure that I'll be able to do justice to that time, I kind of stay back. Hope that helps.
for sure it will. So next question we have from Shivan, and he's asking, what is a better revenue model for a SaaS startup? Should the revenue be prepaid before providing the service, or postpaid collected based on the service users? How to determine this?
Shivan, I think prepaid is a no-brainer. I think if your service, if your product has pull which is strong enough for you to be able to command and demand money upfront, that's the best case. Cash flow solves all sins. तुमने जितने पाप जिंदगी में करोगे और कर सकोगे, I think if you have cash flows, you will get a chance to wash all your sins, whatever you will do. So if you can, then you should. Then you should definitely demand. When you demand prepaid, customers generally ask you for more value from the product, right? Because आप जब किसी से पैसे मांगते हो, so वो immediately बोलता है कि अच्छा guarantee करो that this is going to be right. Is it going to really do what it says? Are you not going to run away? What is your credibility? Where are you based? Who else you work with? Can somebody vouch for you? Right? So these are good kind of questions. They're intimidating. They can sound very, very tough, but these are good questions to solve. These are good questions to answer because your credibility is going to take you places. On the postpaid, my view is that postpaid is the riskiest if your product does not deliver value which is extremely essential to the customer. My test for a postpaid product, will it work or not, is simple. If I give you my product and let's say you are a postpaid customer, you're going to pay me after a month or 2 or 3. If I switch off my product, if my product stops working, will it change anything in your life? Right? So, for example, if Airtel cuts your phone, you're screwed, right? That's the only way Airtel is going to get paid, back. But if you tell me that it is something which, I mean, a subscription which got expired, and customer did not even care about it, right? There is this continuous reminder saying, oh, your X subscription is up for renewal, and nobody cares because it doesn't change his life. Then it's a bad idea to be postpaid. If you are trying to do a postpaid and then you need to follow your customers for collection, bad idea. Don't do that, because you will end up spending more energy, more money, all your time and effort in collections, in begging your customers. That time is better spent in building a better product, in building a better service, in making sure that your customers chase you to pay money rather than you chase them to get paid. So choose carefully.
Is from Aryan, and he is asking what is considered to be a successful MVP data for grabbing fundings.
Or
For funding.
what is considered a successful MVP for grabbing funding?
Yes.
The one which you can sell to the investor, man. फंडिंग शादी की तरह यार, उसका कोई there is no absolute to funding. And I'm just answering the way you are questioning. So because if you are saying that MVP to get a fund, to get funding from anyone, individual investor or an institutional investor, I can only tell you that if you are able to sell that idea to an investor, if an investor ends up believing that this MVP will also scale, and they give you money, super. That's great. There is no milestone which I can tell you is there. If you ask me what is still a respectable benchmark to achieve if you're trying to do MVP, I will say, did you say B2B SaaS?
No, only MVP.
Okay. So in that case, I will say you should have customers, you should have users. If it is a product which can have paid customers, excellent. No free trials. Ask money if people are really paying for your MVP and they are renewing in whatever little cycles you can prove. I think that is a great stage to look for funding. If you are a non revenue product, let's say you're a B2C product, a social network-ish product, wherein you're not too sure if when will you be able to monetize it. In that case, I will still say that whatever metrics you decide as a success for an engaged user, it has to be there. It cannot be just a spike that 100,000 people signed up. That's not a cool idea. But if you believe that month 3 retention or month 1 retention or month 2 retention, whatever the metrics your industry benchmarks, if you're able to really show people engaged, I think it's good enough reason for you to go out. Again, it will depend on investors, if you're able to find the right people or not.
Okay, so we have another question from Biswajit, and he asks, will startups or corporate coming out of pandemic would like to freelance their work. I want to start a freelancing platform which will ease the way to place orders for the clients.
So,
Freelancing as an industry after pandemic.
well, I think freelancing as an industry is already thriving here because I can tell you that as a company, I am much more open to not really outsource our work, but I can say that I am much more open to engage experts on certain areas. We are much more open to engage people on gig basis wherever we can find that non-core value. But I think freelancing was always great. Elance.com kind of websites have been built, multi-$100 million, or maybe I don't know if billion, if Elance is a billion worth a billion or not, but they have been built over freelancers. I think pandemic has just accelerated that. Yeah, I think gig economy in the tech world, in the services world, in the operations world, in the manpower is just gonna go on steroids, and it is already going. Like I think we are right in the middle of it already. It is not going to happen. It's happening right now.
Correct. Okay, so next question we have from Shivan again, and he asks like, what does money mean to you as a personal individual, as a CEO?
Money is a resource, and I will try not to give a profound cliched answer that there is nothing. Money is important, but money is a resource. So for me, money is as much a resource as time and people and anything else is, right. So we are spending ourselves. I am spending not only my money, I'm spending my prime years, and I'm spending myself, building POSist. So will I value myself more, my time more, or my money more? It really depends on the day, and which one I have dearth of. There are days when I will spend a lot of money just to save some time, and there are days when I will spend a lot of time just to make some extra money. So money to me means a resource. Good thing about money is that it can be earned. You can earn it back. So losing money is better. Time is a resource which you can't earn back, and humans are a resource which you have to nurture. So that takes a lot of time, and that takes a lot of money. So people I will place as the top resource. Then I will place time, because people can help you save time and earn time back. And then I'll place money in this order. I will place money at the bottom.
Okay, so one thing I really love about this answer, because there are a lot of college students who are interested in entrepreneurship and really want to do something. So we have a question from Vansh, and he is asking, what skills would you recommend college students to learn, keeping automation in mind?
Once, if I'm understanding your question right, I think one, I will say this to every college student, and I cannot stress this enough. I don't think world is going to allow you to be non-technical in your understanding or in your approach. It has not already. I mean, for example, even if I today find somebody who says, "Oh, I'm not from technical background," I'm like, I don't even understand that. You run a laptop, you run a tablet, you run, YouTube, Instagram. You're creating content. If you can create a TikTok video, you are enough technical, that world, requires. So one is that you definitely should stop thinking that you're non-technical, in case you are asking this question, and I'm assuming that you're not an engineer, because everybody's an engineer, and
He's not. He's one of our team members, and he's studying commerce.
so in that case, I will say that you have to stop thinking that you're a commerce person and a technical person, and you are a non-technical person. Number one. Number two, I think you're also in a world where no code is going to really take over the world. Most of the people will not really require coding to really build apps or to build products or to automate things. It is going to be extremely valuable to learn certain nuts and bolts, of these things. Not very, very hard to learn. Just need a little bit of intent and focus. And third, I will say that as a college student, although you're asking this question specifically for automation, but I will say that that become as DIY as possible, as have an extremely high bias to learn literally everything yourself, especially in the formative years. And by that, what I mean is that don't give somebody else, don't give your video editing to somebody else. Learn a video editor. Don't give your graphic editing to somebody else. Don't outsource somebody else publishing content for you. Write the content, publish it. If you have to do something on or a WordPress or on a Wix or something else, learn that. Figure out. I think YouTube is your friend. Education tech is going through the roof right now. The best education in the world is available literally for free. Degree is costly, certificate is costly, education is super cheap, like it is free, right? So even Harvard education and Stanford education is available for free. Degree is going to cost $100,000. If you don't need the degree, education is available. So I will say that have a massive, bias and inclination towards just learning everything yourself, not because you want to do it for the rest of your life, but because what it will change, the way it will rewire your brain in terms of how you approach things, it's going to be extremely valuable.
So next question we have is from Amit, and thoughts on using low-code application from a small business rather than developing your own application.
Oh, no, I think, is he saying that as a small business, should he develop an application or should he
No,
use?
as a small business, should he use a low-code application rather than developing his own application?
Amit, absolutely. I think, in fact, I will say that, uh, spend most of the time in figuring out if you can use a low code one, unless it is detrimental to the overall promise. So unless you believe that, okay, low code now is becoming the hurdle of what you are trying to promise, then it's a different problem. But I will say that stay away from the temptation to reinvent the wheel wherever you can. And I'll give you one example. You may believe that you are a small business or you may not have technical resources. And if you had developers and if you had technical team who could code some of the best products, you will do it. It's a curse. It's a curse to do that. I can give you my example. As a tech product company, we have best of engineers, we have best of tech talent, we have entire IP of our is built in house. I can tell you that whenever POSist needs a product, right? For example, we need an HR management solution internally. We need a technical support ticketing management solution internally. We need payroll management solution, whatever. A company needs a lot of softwares. I personally had to really work very hard to make sure that nobody in my team, says that ye to hum bana denge. We are a tech company, we can build an HR management solution. It took me time to, realize and also make them realize that we are not in the business of developing technology for ourselves, number one. Number two, just because you can, don't code. This is not your job. Your job is to deliver the outcome to your customer, right? So why should you not use a low code application if you can? Because if you are promising, for example, if you are in a POS player, right? Let's say you are a competitor to us. And if you are trying to promise to a restaurant that I am going to make sure that you are able to print the bill at the end of each transaction. And if there is a low code application which allows you to do that, why do you want to reinvent the wheel? Get to a point where you have 500 customers, 100 customers, or whatever that number is. You will always have your day to rebuild everything from scratch. But try and hack your MVPs as much as you can. It will leave you a lot of time, money, and resource to iterate faster.
Okay, thank you, sir. So next question we have is from Vishal, and what is your opinion on Fintech SaaS startups? For example, a SaaS for a bank which helps bank in international remittance.
A SaaS for bank, which helps bank in international remittance.
Yeah.
That's solid, man. I think I don't have any opinion on that. I believe it's a great idea. If you can actually pull that off, absolutely. One addition I can do to that for everyone, and especially also for the one who was asked, Vishal, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Vishal, what I can tell you is that there is no bad idea in the world, and Also in B2B SaaS, I can tell you that you can find 1,000 product ideas right now, and all of them are valid. Now, why you should choose something and leave something is should be based on two parameters. One, what is your reason that you will be able to do justice to this? For example, if you come back to me saying that I can build a product for banks which will help bank in international remittances, etc., I will probably quiz you on what do you understand about banking system. Why are you trying to solve this problem? Do you have an understanding of it? Have you worked at a bank? Have you worked at the bank in this area? Because tomorrow, when you will have to sell to a bank which is a regulated entity, they will have 20,000 hurdles apart from your product which you have to cross. Unless you have very clear understanding of what you're dealing with, you won't be able to. So I will say, I will encourage that go work with a bank, go work with a company which works with a bank, or go figure out how closely can you watch the problem, validate the problem, and see if the solution is even required or not. That's one. Second is that look for how big the market is, and by that what I mean is how many banks can you sell to. And if the country has 20 banks, um, is it large enough market for you? If you can answer the first question with absolute certainty, then the second question is null and void. Because if you know how to sell to a bank, then even if out of 20 you sign up 4 banks, you're home. You're done for life. So I will say that no, there is no bad idea in the SaaS world. Just look for your reason to do it, your proximity with the problem, and your eligibility to attack it. And also have patience and fuel for 3 to 5 years, and you'll be fine.
So next question we have is from VSY. I don't know what that means. How could a niche SaaS go from an MVP to an extremely coherent product without a customer base, without too much money to burn? I have personally gone down the personal route with no success.
I didn't understand how can you really become a great product without a customer. I mean, he said
No,
that
how could your niche SaaS go from an MVP to an extremely coherent product with a customer base without too much money to burn?
you have to ask money from your customers, mate. I think one mistake I see, continuously happening always, with all entrepreneurs. I think I see majority do that, and I don't know why. The common wisdom is, for example, people will come to me and they will say, I will ask them that how many customers do you have? They will say 10. I said, okay, how much are they paying you? And they'll say, no, they are free. They are trying it because I am new now. I'm like, no. I mean, technically you are new. That's why they should pay you more right now. Now, that does not mean that it is you're going to beg because you're small. My point is that because you're new, because you're small, because you're nimble, you have an opportunity to go and talk to that business owner and say and ask him कि साहब क्या चाहिए, what is it that I can do for you which solves your biggest issue. Create a niche product or a feature specifically for that, but ask for money. Ask them that how much will you pay me if I solve this problem. And if you solve that problem for them, take that money, charge enough so that you can service them well. If people are not paying you, then figure out people who can pay you. Figure out
Okay.
people for whom that problem is worth it. But if you are going to have a niche product with a customer base who you call customers and they call you trial, I don't think um, I don't think that's an equal relationship. So don't call your trials your customers. Call them trials. Your customers are the people who actually paid you, and use that money to continuously flow back into the product. And you may take few more years than somebody who has more funding, but you'll get there. But this discipline of asking money from the customer is required.
Okay, so we have another follow-up question from the same person. Going back to pricing models in terms of SaaS products based on the amount of users a customer possesses, is it better idea to go flat rate initially or start and stay with per user pricing?
Whatever floats your boat. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of a contrarian answer to this. Let's not say SaaS. Okay, I think this SaaS is an overabused word. Everything does not need to be subscription. And as I said, I'm saying this. I'm saying something which may be a little contrarian, but let me pose this analogy to you. See, SaaS or being subscription based or being user based or charging monthly or quarterly or yearly is not your end goal. Your end goal is to charge.
Correct.
And your end goal is to make X amount of money. Right? For example, if you come to me and sell and pitch your product worth 10,000 rupees per annum, and you say that, sir, we only charge annual. I'll say, okay. And I give you 50,000 rupees for 5 years, one shot. Won't you take it? Will you say, no, we are SaaS. Please pay me 800 rupees a month. Think about this, right? This is exactly what is happening outside, right? SaaS is a vehicle. It is a way to charge. It is not the end goal. Your car is a vehicle to take you to the destination. Your car does not decide the destination.
Correct.
Right? So charge what you need to charge. So for example, if you believe that if your business plan, suppose you make a business plan and say, I'm going to charge 10,000 rupees per year from a customer, and I believe that a customer who signs up today is going to be with me for next 5 years. So my LTV, lifetime value, is going to be 50,000 rupees for 5 years. And if you get 50,000 rupees today, call it a license. I will call it. So if somebody is ready to pay me one time 50,000 rupees for a perpetual license with an expiry of 5 years, is it a bad model? It is still SaaS. It is a 5-year SaaS. Whatever you want to call it, like wrap it the way you want to wrap it, right? But at the end of the day, don't try to fit in to SaaS just because somebody else is asking you that, oh no, you should do subscription. Don't do subscription. I mean, people used to ask us that, why do you charge for the entire year? We charge strictly for the entire year. And people have asked us historically, though, if you charge monthly, I believe you can get more customers. And I was like, yes, but I will also make 1/12 revenue monthly, which is not going to allow me to even have a team, which is not going to allow me to have customers.
Correct.
So technically I will have 0/12. I would rather have few into 12 rather than 0/12. Right? So SaaS is not the only thing. If it is one time, if it is flat, please do it. Last, I will also say, pricing तुम्हारी है यार, बदल देना, है ना? ऐसा क्या है? चेंज कर देना, बोल देना कि अब नया प्राइस आ गया है, थोड़ा बड़े हो जाओ. If your product improves, your product matures, your power matures, your brand matures, change the pricing every year. Bring a new pricing. Keep your previous customers on the previous price. Keep that agreement and credibility, alive. Don't take yourself too seriously. आज आपने कोई pricing बोली है, उस पे आज आपने business किया है, गलती हो गई, फिर बदल देना. Be agile, be open to change, and pricing is one of them. It can change every year.
Correct. So next question we have is from Tejas, and he is asking, is it true that raising funds may trouble your decision making in a company?
No, absolutely not. Tejas, I think investor is your partner, right? It is like saying getting married is going to trouble your decision making.
Which for sure it does for guys.
No, it doesn't. It really depends on what kind of diligence you did, before marriage. Did you spend time to figure out if your temperaments match? Did you figure out that you too, do you want the same thing in life? After getting married, if you figure out that, you and your partner wanted two different things in life, that is going to result in many, many bad things. So same as with investors. I think raising money is not evil. Investors are not evil. Money in itself is not evil. Bootstrapping is no easy task. Raising money isn't either. दोनों में से कोई भी रूट सही नहीं है और गलत नहीं है. People who glorify, bootstrapping, are also glorifying the wrong thing, and people who glorify raising funds are also glorifying the wrong thing. These are two different paths. Both the paths can lead to the same destination. In bootstrapping, you are a lone warrior, so you have much more freedom, to take decisions. Also, the losses are yours. Nobody is going to help you course correct. Okay. When you raise funds, you recruit few partners who put their money. You are definitely obligated to make sure that you keep them on board with your decisions. You cannot be, a lone wolf. But that also comes with goodness in certain cases if you manage that relationship well, because they will help you course correct. They will also help you, get up when you fall, because they're also going to fall with you. So don't just say that raising money is good or bad. It's really about finding the right investor for yourself, and making sure that you're able to build that rapport and clarity, with them before you get into that relationship.
Right. So next question we have is from Madhu Sudan. People who are good at tech are mostly solution oriented, but not so good at marketing themselves or the solutions. What's your take on this?
बिल्कुल यार, I have seen that enough. I think world has seen that enough, and I will not really generalize that people who are good at tech are not good at marketing or sales. Let me put it this way: most of the people who are good in tech, they have turned a blind eye to sales and marketing. They don't even believe that I need sales and marketing. And people who are good with sales and marketing, they call themselves non-tech.
Correct.
Right? And I think both are stupid. One should not, especially if you're trying to be a founder. If you're trying to be a co-founder, even if you're trying to be a technical co-founder, I still believe that it is your job, it is your duty to be business oriented. It is your duty to be product oriented. It is your duty to be customer oriented. Even if you're not donning the hat of a CEO, still it is your duty to act as the co-founder before you act as a CTO or an engineering guy. Same goes for marketing. Same goes for sales. So I will say that if this question is coming from a tech person, then I will say yes. If you're not so good at solutioning, if you're not so good at marketing, if you're not good at positioning your product, if you're not so good at sales or pitching, recognize that early. Don't get into the fallacy of I will build and they will come. When you build, nobody comes. You have to actually go out in the market, call them and show them the product. So recruit a salesperson, recruit a marketing person, recruit a co-founder who brings business. Prithvi, I can tell you this one thing. Every time I meet a non-tech founder and I ask him that who's going to be your first recruit or what are you looking for, they're very, very clear. I'm looking for a technical co-founder, or I'm looking for a CTO, or I'm looking for a developer.
Correct.
Because clear है उसको मालूम है मेरे को सेल्स मार्केटिंग आता है, मेरे को टेक नहीं आता है. When I meet a tech co-founder and I ask them who's going to be your next hire, engineer. उसके बाद का हायर फिर इंजीनियर. अरे वो सेल्स मार्केटिंग का क्या होगा? अरे वो तो हो जाएगा. वो तो कैसे हो जाएगा? So my point is that most of the times I see engineers and technical people suffering because of this mindset that sales and marketing is the. You need somebody not only with sales and marketing, you need somebody with the knack of, with business acumen, somebody who can think about it from the customer's side or business, day in, day out. Don't underrate it. Both are important areas. Underrating one is not going to serve you.
Correct. So next question we have is from Vishal, and which SaaS model do you think will be successful in future, B2C or B2B2C, and what parameters help to identify this?
I think Vishal, B2B2C sounds really scary to me most of the times. I haven't seen many, or I mean, when I'm trying to think, I'm not even getting any in my head right now who has been able to really do B2B2C. People believe that they can. Most of the times they cannot. I will say that focus on B2B or focus on B2C. Don't just club them together and make yourself miserable. Also, I think I don't know what model will work. I think all kinds of models, B2B, B2C, P2P, C2C, every model has been working very well in the world. It really depends on who pulls it off. I think I personally have no bias towards which one you should go for. Um, yeah.
Okay, so next question we have is from Atharv. How do you see or find inspiration for innovation?
Problems. Um, be close to your customers. Be close to your work. Hear problems. Question them at a fundamental level. Whenever somebody tells you, "Oh yeah, ऐसे ही होता है," this is how it will work. This is how it won't work. Question. Be a little bit of a rebel, and question every fundamental. Not just for the sake of it, but at times it is good to question even for the sake of it. Don't get stuck. I mean, I can tell you that there are times when I will conform to whatever world is doing, to just get some stuff done. But but if it hits me, then I will say no. I'm going to find out why it happens this way. Why can't we do it, some other way? Is there a better way? I can do it. I think necessity is the mother of all innovation and invention.
Correct.
And I think my job, for example, is not to find innovation. My job is to continuously find necessity. Uh, if I find necessity and the problems, I think the innovation engine keeps rolling. I don't need to worry about that.
Correct. So next we have is from Deepak. Will privacy concern and monopolistic behavior lead enterprise to use a system based on blockchain in the future?
Yeah, I'm not an expert. In fact, I think I should not attempt this question because I'm not an expert on blockchain. I do understand blockchain. I understand blockchain as much as anybody who has read 20 blogs or attended 5 talks will do. Um, in all honesty, I fundamentally uh, believe that there is going to be business use case for large organizations. There is going to be a case for blockchain. Um, but I think blockchain itself is so costly at a compute level that that transaction and that privacy value should also suffice the use case. So let me give you an example. Everybody talks about privacy as a consumer on Facebook, Insta, Google, whatever, right? Will you really pay 5,000 rupees a year for Facebook to not change any of the experience, not give you any premium feature, just keep your data blockchain and have a token every time they share your data with an app? That's your answer. For the large enterprise, I think that in the banking systems, in legal systems, in high value transactions, in I don't know if once we start using retina scans, maybe our Aadhaar authentication in the API, those kind of things. I do believe that if the cost of blockchain is feasible for the value of the transaction, they will. But one thing I can tell you is that privacy concerns across the world, not only large enterprises, I think privacy and data concerns across the world are going through the roof. India is launching its own version of GDPR this March, or I think around that time. I think every country is going through its own GDPR, euphoria. So I think more and more countries are going to, world is going to become, much more concerned about that. So if you think about doing something just to solve for that piece, either solve for privacy management or solve for privacy, big business.
So we have another question from Ankush. Being a large startup, do you still face major problems? If yes, what problems you face as an organization that takes up a lot of time, resources, and money?
अरे सब कुछ है सब कुछ मतलब इतने दुख और इतने दर्द हैं कि मैं रो दूंगा तो बह जाएगा सब कुछ. I think when you become larger as an organization, and we are still a tiny company, but of course, I mean, from a very start, I think relatively we are bigger than that. So your problems also grow. Your problems, the nature of the problem, changes. The intensity changes, but I think the magnitude still grows. And so, for example, somebody, I mean, we have a hiring challenge. We have we have all kinds of challenges, which a small startup, will have. Just that, some basic challenges may not be there. For example, I don't have a manpower challenge in terms of कि phone कौन उठाएगा, customer support कौन करेगा. Of course, somebody will take care of it. I don't have a problem that okay, code कौन लिखेगा, sales कौन करेगा, customer से बात कौन करेगा. But I do have another problem. Who is going to launch another country?
Okay.
How do you create the same set of team and copy paste it in some other region? I have a problem where how do you replicate your own playbook? So something which has worked for me in India, how do you do it? How even if something has worked in India, if I want to implement the same thing in India at 10x, how do I do that? Because the same same way may not be the feasible way. So I think with scale, your challenges continuously scale. मैं बहुत सारे अर्ली स्टार्टअप एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को बोलता हूँ कि जैसे जैसे थोड़े बड़े हो जाओगे तो कोई मुझे पूछता है कि हाँ तो उसके बाद ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगी. ऐसा नहीं, उसके बाद आदत पड़ जाएगी. You'll be numb to most of these things, but I think your job is to continuously solve challenges. So it's a generic answer, but unless you are specifically asking for a challenge which you believe are we facing or not, or do startups in the mid phase do they face or not, happy to answer that.
So anyone who is watching us on YouTube, basically we are almost at 9 o'clock and we will be considering the questions only asked us before 9 o'clock. So if you have anything to ask, this is the correct time to send it on YouTube. So sir, you spoke about the hiring challenge and we have the next question about hiring. And Nandita is asking, from the new hirings that you did during the pandemic, did you think they had difficulty in making a repo with the existing team? Did it affect their productivity, and how did your company deal with it?
Ananta, you're bang on. I think um, I'll give you a biased answer in this. I think as a founder, somewhere I believe that probably the repo building was not really the challenging part, but camaraderie was. Right, so the way teams who used to work in the same office, the way they gelled well, and the way they could dance and work remotely. Of course, this new person, I know that new people in the team have struggled. I don't know about all 20, unfortunately, but I know about 2, for example. So I can extrapolate that the struggles must have been same. As a company. How much could we have solved it? I don't know actually, because it's a human challenge. See, we have onboarded them, we have given them all the tools. They have access to all the data, all the information as their peers. Everybody is reachable. There are people who are assisting them if they're finding some trouble. So we are doing whatever is required, or we can figure out, or whatever somebody is raising hand for. But I do believe that that struggle has been. I mean, we have not. I know that we have not been able to take care of it fully. I cannot claim that like it might have been like super smooth for them, or will they be able to. I think productivity answer is that I don't think that it has hampered their productivity, at least from the I mean, at least from the perspective of what do we want. But I can also tell you that we have seen varied results in terms of individual. I mean, as per the individuals. So for example, we clearly saw that people who were extremely proactive, who were reaching out to other teammates, who were not shy, who were asking for help often, they sailed through very, very well. They
Mm-hmm.
gelled well. Even if not some camaraderie, they at least ended up building enough work and productivity for themselves. Um, I think people who were quiet, who were waiting to be introduced, who were waiting to be spoon fed, they suffered. We suffered with them. We had to, by the way, let go of two people. We hired in between, right? I said net 20, but we hired a little more. So yeah. So I think breakups happened because we could not understand them better, or they could not understand us better, or productivity was not there. But I think in an office environment, some of these things again are very underrated, but they get taken care of because just because you are
Correct.
around so many people, you ask for help and people help you, and you just figure your way out. At home, if you're not proactive, it was difficult.
So next question we have is from Abhishek. Who had been your close mentor during the initial process days?
Lot of them, yeah. I think uh, I will name Samir Guglani from Morpheus. Earliest days. We were a part of Morpheus. Morpheus was one of the if those of you who don't know, was one of the first accelerators in India. They were the Y Combinator of India. Truly, like the amount of success and successful companies came out of Morpheus were immense. I think I consider Samir as the mentor, from those days for sure. Um, and then यार over the years मैंने बहुत लोग का दिमाग खाया है. मतलब I keep doing that even till today. I keep finding a lot of people, so I can name a lot of them for different things, right? So I always have go to people for different problems, for different expertise. I still have a list of 15, 16 people who I ping periodically, just to brainstorm, ask questions, ask problems, take their perspective, figure out what they are doing. And and I find most of my mentors in my fellow entrepreneurs, because I also believe that people who are in the game, in some game, will also not bullshit when they answer, because they are also, उनको भी कल खुद को चेहरा दिखाना है सुबह उठकर. तो theoretical answer नहीं मिलेगा. They will give you the most practical answer. At least they will tell you what they are doing, right?
Right.
So yeah, so cannot name a lot of them right now, but I can tell you that I still have a long list, and I'm trying to find more mentors, by the way. So I'm always on a lookout for people who can help me reach where I want to reach for 5 years from now.
Okay, so we have a question from Paul from Warsaw, Poland. What do you think about displaying prices on your website if you're a SaaS product or if you are freemium? Do you think add the tier prices can scare potential users off?
Paul, I don't think so. I think it's a quite a self-served answer. I believe that if you are a self-served product, then it is absolutely important for you to display your pricing. In fact, I will also tell you that spend extra time on your pricing page. If you're a self-service product, make sure that every terms and condition, um, everything is laid out very well on your page. There is no hidden clause. In fact, write down that there is no hidden clause. What scares people on pricing pages is complicated pricing page and then having asterisk, as the dampener. The only and I think if you believe that, uh, see, pricing never scares away potential users. Pricing segments users for you, right? I'll repeat that, right? So it helps you, separate wheat from chaff. When if I am your potential user and I come to your pricing page and I see a price which I am not probably willing to pay, or probably if the freemium version I already know that this is not going to help me, then I'm not your customer anyway. Like, don't think that I got scared away. The fact is that I was not your customer. Pricing page is supposed to help you filter the noise. The only time where I will suggest not having a published price on your page if you're dealing with large enterprises, if you're dealing with even mid-market but enterprises, where, or if you're dealing with a case where it's not self-service, where somebody needs to know more about the product or they need assistance from somebody, in those cases publishing a price can scare away people without really understanding what they're getting scared of. So it's always better to have a form which people can fill, your rep can call back, and ask for example, if you go to POSist website, you will not find a pricing page. You will have to send an inquiry. A rep will call you, and that rep from our side is going to ask you 100 questions to qualify you, whether you qualify to be the customer or not, whether you qualify for the use case or not. They will also not shy away from respectfully telling you that you're not, this product may not be worth your time and money. But in case they discover that you are qualified and you are the right kind of customer, then they will go all in to bring you home.
Great. So we have last 3 to 4 questions, sir. Aryan is asking, will the presence of a working professional make a difference if we founders are college students while approaching investors?
No, absolutely not. Sorry, what is the name? Who asked this question?
Aryan.
आर्यन आर्यन नो यार, ये मैं भी सोचता था. In fact, I'll tell you something, Aryan. I was fortunate enough that when I was starting up back in 2005-06, social media was not that overpowering, and most of the times I used to masquerade around as somebody who is already a graduate, though it was all kiddish bullshit, right? When I look back, I realized that most of the people never cared. But I used to think that I was fooling them into believing that I'm out of college. No, it doesn't help. It doesn't. I think if you are college students and if you are trying to do something, and if you want investors or people or even potential customers or early customers to bet their money on you, I think the only product they need is you, your authenticity. I think don't shy away from telling them that you're in college, but don't ask for a chance. Show them why do you need that chance, right? I mean, if you are promising a product, go with that. If you're promising a service, go with that. Do a trial of that service. Ask your money. Place a refund on the counter. I'll tell you one trick which I used to do, which helped me very early on, not in POSist, but my previous company. I closed my first deal by issuing an equal amount of check to the customer, saying that you give me a 50,000 rupees check, I will cash it, but I'm also giving you a 50,000 rupees check. If this doesn't work out, you cash it, right?
Correct.
But what I can tell you is that that don't have a working professional just because you want somebody to take you seriously. Don't do that. If that working professional is going to add value to that product or service, of course, I mean that is going to be a plus sign, for the investor or for the customer. Just don't do it for the sake of it.
Next question we have is from Ravi, and what is the best way to start with an idea to bootstrap till you find funding, or to start when you have funds?
Ravi, if the agenda in life is to raise funding, then you need to have a life first. Don't do that. Don't do that. I think there is no right way or the wrong way to bootstrap to funding. I think this question is wrong. This question in itself means that you are starting up to raise funds, or you are going to start up when you have funds. I think both the questions are wrong. I can't even answer this. All I can say is that that bootstrap or raise funds is not a question. Question is that why do you want to start a business? What do you want to do with it? What is the product and service you are trying to build? Go talk to the potential customers. If they need it, ask them money, ask them help. If you're solving a valuable problem, and if you can demonstrate that you can do that, trust me, you will find people. Don't go to 5 people and say nobody's giving me the chance. Don't do that. Go to 500 people, go to 50 people. I know it's easier said than done, but trust me, people who have done that that was the only way. They got lucky after every 50 asks. You are only looking at the lucky part. You're not looking at those 49 rejections are buried under, the ground. So make sure that you go through that grind.
So next question we have from someone named Question Everything. That's interesting. While creating teams, should we tolerate annoying nature of an employee even if they show good results?
That's your choice, man. If you ask me, no, absolutely not. I think anybody who is a bad culture fitment is very, very important. And there is no benchmark of good culture or bad culture. I think culture is about vibe. It's about the vibe of a certain group, of a certain tribe. And if you have a teammate who is a brilliant asshole, there is a term for this. Brilliant assholes. People who are brilliant with their results and work, but they're assholeish. If they're assholeish for the wrong reason, if they're annoying, if they're destructing the energy of the group, let them go. It's better to figure out how to get the result, from somebody else who is much more pleasant to work with. Because, and I'll tell you, big reason for this. Reason is that it is a marathon. It is going to take years before you will be called any kind of success. So even if somebody is doing, good to you with their skills momentarily, you're not going to sustain it for long enough anyway. Might as well let them go today, because then at least you'll be able to find your next person who can fill up. Longer you wait, more damage you do.
Right. So that's a wrap, sir. Thank you very much for giving your time, and it was really interesting. I know, like, it's always amazing talking to you. Everyone who tuned in today, thank you very much. As I said, like in the beginning, uh, we actually did an interview with Ashish sir in December of 2018, and now we meet again in December of 2020. It's been
Wow, dude, that was 2 years back.
yes, that was December of 2018.
एक तो यार ये पैंडेमिक ने बहुत परेशान कर दिया है, पूरा साल उड़ गया यार. आई एम स्टिल रेफरिंग टू थिंग्स एज लास्ट ईयर, and then I rectify saying no, 2 years back, because then I add last 11 months to it. But no, thanks Prithvi, thanks Caleb, thanks for you know uh, Backstage with Millionaires team. Thanks for having me again, and thank you for all very interesting cool questions. I think a lot of you know startup enthusiast and early startup audience. I think most of the questions I could make out. Guys, do reach out to me on LinkedIn. If I don't reply, don't take it to your heart. Follow up. That's all what I can say. Happy to engage, happy to, in case you found any of the answers which helped you, do write to me someday whenever it helps you. In case you found some of the answer which you heavily disagree with, write to me and give me a counter opinion. Happy to get enriched from yours. And thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, once again, and I'll see you next week with a new video. And till then, have a good weekend. Thank you. Uh, yes, I guess Caleb has ended this. Thank you very much, sir.
It says
Uh,
live.
no, here it says live. I will just wait for Caleb to send me the confirmation that he has ended the YouTube.